All right, welcome to the relationship show. This woman, she's 22, boyfriend is 23. She says, my boyfriend keeps lying about wanting to hang out with me. This is a problem that's been going on for months. I want to do something, so I invite him as one does. Hey, would you like to grab dinner tonight? My treat. And I always end up following it with, if you don't want to, please just say no. Okay, so one thing you're doing is you're presupposing that he might say no. Um, it's like, look how it's like you want to assume that they will say yes. It's like, yeah, you're awesome to be around, and have that presupposition going into it. It's like, think of like what dogs do. I saw this morning. It's like, my dog went. He wants to go outside all the time, and so it's like every little thing I do to like jump at him or play with him or be playful with him, he will do what's really like an assumption close. And as soon as I initiate something, he'll run as fast as he can, like we're going to go outside. And then it's like, we don't go outside, but it's like, and then I, do something again, and then he'll do the same thing over and over and over again. He'll assume that we're going outside, and that's just programmed in him. But the result is he gets, we go outside so much more than if he would just like hang around or play with me or whatever. It's like he's doing the assumption close just naturally built in him. So assume that you're going to get the outcome that you want. So just start with that, and it also applies to pickup, dating, really anything, guys, girls, whatever. It's like assumption closes are huge. Sales, huge deal. Just apply that. Have much better results for you. Um, but one thing it does seem like you're doing here is you're trying to take control of the relationship. So you're the one asking him out, which can be great. But if it comes like every single time, you're the one always having to make the plans. You're my treat. You're the one always having to pay. It's like he doesn't really want to feel like he's just being like the passive role in this relationship, and you're the one who's in charge and the one who's taking control of everything, and telling him what to do. Like if you don't want to, just please say no. That can also be kind of interpreted as like you telling him, you know, what to do or what to think or how to decide. Um, he always says yes, even when he doesn't want to, and it's gotten us into loads of problems. That's a big one. So yes, so she is doing like it seems like she is controlling, at least trying to control a relationship or trying to take the lead because she thinks that if she takes the lead, then they'll get on dates, and that's going to lead to success. But look at the 3 C's of masculinity, the 3 things that really cause the most problems with men. It's being controlled, it's being close. It's when your woman doesn't like close off when express her feelings to you, and criticized. And so what is she doing? She's seems like there might be some hints of her trying to control him. And so it's like if she tries to control him or tries to, hints at criticizing, how he's deciding or that he doesn't want to be with her. It's like these are some of the biggest things that cause the most pain, if you will, with men. Um, and so those are things you want to really navigate in a much better way or much more tactful way. Um, but on his hand, so he's really being weak in these situations. He's not standing up for what he believes in. And when you act, weak in this way, it's like if you agree to doing things that you don't want to do, what's that going to, what's the result going to be from that? So it's like if you agree to a date that you don't want to be at, it's like you're not going to be present on the date. You're going to be thinking about other things. And if you're not, present with your woman in that moment, then the date has a much higher likelihood of not being fun. It's like you're not going to put the effort in, and then women will also test you for this specific reason. Like they will test if you are going to do things you don't want to do just because she asks, or are you going to switch your opinion just because she has a different opinion. It's like if you do that, gives you like the example of you are like just trying to please her, and it comes across as like bribing her to like you, and you have to like, oh, I have to do whatever it takes to get her to like me. It's like, man, you got to get rid of that. You got to focus on your mission, decide what works with your mission, and base your decisions on that. And if she's like, oh, well, this hurts me, or I don't like this, or you should do this, my opinion's different. It's like, no, my opinion is this. I'm staying with that. This is my mission. This is what I'm heading towards. You can basically come with me, or, you can get out, find someone else. That kind of attitude. It's like you're going on the mission no matter what. And no matter if you're with me or you're without me, it's like if you have that confidence, like that's where I'm going. It's like, man, that is a great place to be as far as being in your masculine and her in your feminine, in her feminine. And it's like you failing these tests just doesn't really make her feel safe, because it's like you can't stick up for your own opinions. It's like, how are you going to stick up for herself, for her, especially if there's like a dangerous situation or, whatever. But it doesn't work with attraction if you're just caving in on your opinions or agreeing to do things that you don't want to do. And look at this. He says, last year we had a huge fight because of this, where it got to the point of him resenting me and, in quotes, feeling trapped and forced to hang out with me. She says, in his words. What does that illustrate? Trapped. Someone is controlling you. It's like you don't have any say. You don't have anything. Forced. I don't have the control. It's like you're forcing me to do this. I don't have control in this. So that is, it's one of the main pillars of, the 3 C's of masculinity. It's like if you violate those, or if the guy feels like he's not in control, and being controlled, it's like that is going to cause serious, serious problems. She says, I was shocked. He had never given me a hint that he didn't want to hang out. It's like, yeah, guys don't really communicate that way. They don't like hint at things like, oh, like signals being indirect and stuff like that. It's like women communicate that way a lot, and guys don't pick up on that a lot. But on the other hand, guys are very direct, and it's like they're going to get to the point. I know I sensed on multiple occasions that he didn't really want to be with me, and would be incredibly annoyed. So, back to what he said. Take what guys say, especially in moments like that, as truth. It's like that's what he actually means. He's not trying to hint at something like bigger or different or something like that. He's saying exactly what he means. He's like, I'm feeling trapped and forced to hang out with her. So she's acting in her masculine energy, and makes him feel like he is in his feminine energy. He has to be in this feminine role, and that he just doesn't feel comfortable with that. And she doesn't seem to feel comfortable with that as well, even though she thinks that it's like that's the way to success. It's like this isn't the way to success. It's like you're discovering that firsthand here. But when I'd cancel plans or confront him on it, he'd get extremely defensive and insist he wanted to be there. Again, he's just in that pattern of doesn't know what to do, doesn't really know how to be assertive and stand up for himself. And that is widespread. It's like a lot of people in the world, or just the United States or whatever, it's like they don't stick up for themselves. And it's like that's one of the biggest things as far as guys. It's like, man, they got to stick up for themselves. They got to stick up for their purpose, their woman, their beliefs, their opinions. And this guy just isn't doing it. And he's not in that pattern. And because it is scary, it's like something you have to train yourself to do, and then maybe asking, how do I do that? How do I get into that? It's like, man, that's so scary. That's not me. It's like, I can't just confront people like that, or I can't speak my opinion, or every time I do, or every time I feel something, I can't express it and I just freeze up. It's like, well, how do you do that? Well, you adopt a mindset, mission driven, and being able to walk away and mean it. And especially if you can walk away and mean it. It's like I discovered this, years ago, and it was like absolute wake up. It's like I could walk away from someone and it wouldn't matter. It's like, wow, that is like the most freeing concept that I could have. It's like before that, I was like, I just have to do whatever it takes to make it work. And you have to go through this process no matter what it is. Um, but if you can adopt, it's almost like an abundance attitude. It's like I could walk away and find somebody else. It's not to say you're threatening them. That's not a good way to go. You shouldn't threaten the other person at for the end of the relationship. But it's like having that attitude where or she knows that, man, you could get any other women that you wanted, and she knows that, and she can feel that, and it's like you have that almost power. It's almost like you have power in a relationship, and you have just a little bit more of like the control. It's like, well, the one who usually cares less or can walk away is usually the one in control. um, but and that is from analyzing so many situations and reading so many books, and from my own personal experiences and looking at my parents' relationships and other people's parents' relationships. It's like that power dynamic is so essential. um, but man, you got to step up. You got to stick up for yourself in what you truly believe, and you can't be fearful that if say what you mean and say what you feel and say what you want to do and not go along with their plans and stuff like that, um, in the end, that's going to make her feel more, secure with you, if you will. And she's going to look at you with much more respect.